It's a beautiful, gorgeous Monday afternoon in the United States of America.
Welcome back, Ev.
I'm back, baby. This morning, I was in England.
I couldn't tell if that was a yo or a yawn.
It was a combo of both. Here's how screwed up it is when you're in England for a few days and then you come back to New York. This morning, you know what I did? Hey, ask me, Evan, what'd you do this morning?
What'd you do this morning?
I watched the Yankees play the Los Angeles Dodgers live, and it was in the morning. It was a 1 a.m. game, and I was locked in. Now, we got a lot to get to on this beautiful Monday. I will share some of the beauties of London, England, and the experience of watching baseball there as the show rolls on. It is breaking news, but Dan Hurley is staying at UConn. He has turned out a monster offer from the Los Angeles Lakers, and it was a very, very wise decision. And more on Darren Waller making the inevitable announcement. So we got a lot to get to on this busy Monday, but this was a very entertaining baseball weekend with the LA Dodger fans invading Yankee Stadium, with the great atmosphere we saw over the last three games, with the Dodgers winning on Friday, winning on Saturday, and the Yankees coming back on Sunday. And to me, look, it's 3 games. It was a great test because you're playing the Dodgers. At the end of the day, it's only 3 games in the standings. But nevertheless, you can learn a lot from this. And I learned a lot from these 3 games against the Dodgers. But can I start with number one thing that I learned?
Go ahead.
You people, Yankee fans, I don't understand you. Like, I'm all for a chant. Like, I'm a big chanting kind of guy. I like chants. I think chants are fun, especially when they're not dirty, especially when you're not chanting F this guy or F that guy. And I appreciate that the Yankees cleaned it up this weekend. There were no F Mookie chants or F Ohtani chants or F Yamamoto chants.
They did boo him, though.
They did, and that's great. Like, I'm all for that. But what I cannot get over, and maybe it's because I was watching the game at 1 a.m., maybe it's because I haven't slept in 36 hours, maybe it's because I just got off a plane from London, England, but I cannot wrap my head around We Want Soto. I don't understand it. Like, guys, he was hurt. It's not as if Aaron Boone said, you know what I'm going to do? I got this great strategy. I'm going to keep Juan Soto from competing against the LA Dodgers. I got this brilliant strategy. Me and Scott Boras were concocting it. Like, they weren't keeping Juan Soto from the Yankees. Juan Soto was hurt. So when I'm watching this game, Tiki, like, I'm racking my brain, like, why are we chanting We Want Soto? You know why he's not playing. Like, I didn't get that one, bro.
Interestingly, your emotion is the exact same emotion as Aaron Judge, who said he was not happy with that chant from Yankee fans. But I think you're misreading it from a Yankee. You're not even looking at it from a Yankee fan perspective. You're just looking at it as an IBO perspective. Doesn't make any sense. He's not playing.
So then tell me from a Yankee fan perspective what that means.
So to me, and I only know this because I have cheer daughters. And we go to cheer competitions all year long. And right before one of the teams comes out, it's, we want Crossfire, we want Bomb Squad, we want Bombshells. And it's, the requisite, right? It's more it's uplifting. It's more like we want someone who's going to come give us a show.
Right.
And Juan Soto, who in the Yankee fans' minds was available. It wasn't like he was, hidden or at the hospital or didn't come to the ballpark. He's sitting on the top step, and he looks healthy. And he probably warmed up before the game and said hello and signed autographs. And so he looks available if the team should need him. And in that moment, they needed him. Now, luckily for the Yankees, Trent Grisham was like, sit down, Soto. I got this. Right. And he goes yard. And then the next time up, they're chanting, we want Grisham. So it's different.
Now, let me say.
So to me, it's about the show, right? And I only know this because this is what I do this every weekend with my kids. Like, we want to see the show.
Right.
Entertain us. Like, tell us why we're here or show us why we're here rooting for you. It had nothing to do with diminishing Grisham, even though Aaron Judge thought that. I think it was just more about give me the show. And right now, Juan Soto is a show, especially after 2 straight losses and potentially getting swept by the Dodgers.
We all know how important Juan Soto is. Like, obviously, he's an incredibly important player. But I also think the Yankees handled this brilliantly. It's 3 games in the middle of June.
Yes.
I mean, can we be honest about these 3 games? Yes, it was a lot of fun. Yes, it was sold out. Yes, Dodger fans paid a lot of money to fly east and go, but it's 3 games in the middle of June. And if Juan Soto is dealing with an injury, which he is, even if it's minor, even if there was no structural damage, the Yankees were being smart. In all my years sitting here, watching Met games, Yankee games, Knick games, Ranger games, I've never heard that before. Like, the only time I've ever heard a "We Want" chant was when Knick fans would do it to Derrick Rose because he was their victory human cigar. So they would be like, "We want Derrick," or however they chanted it.
And then they stuck him in the starting lineup and it all with the pot.
No, I mean after that. I mean, it was when they would bring him in like in the final minute of the game.
I got you.
And like, I understood that. I didn't understand that last night. Like, he's not playing.
But he was available.
The Yankees aren't keeping him from you.
He was available. That's the reality.
Well, we don't know. Look, Aaron Boone said he may be available. He didn't declare that he definitely was. And look, in the 6th inning, I know it was odd to see Trent Grisham batting 5th. Maybe Aaron Boone just watched the best-of-3 Padres-Mets wildcard series from 2 years ago and was inspired because we Met fans know how good Trent Grisham could be. This year, he's had a god-awful season, so I can't explain why he's batting 5th.
He's had 50 plate appear, 50 at-bats.
Well, that's a part of the problem.
Right.
Like, a part of the problem, and it's a good thing, is that the Yankees, we talked about this last week, the Yankees have this new strategy of just playing their guys. Like, they don't mess around. Aaron Judge plays every day. Until Juan Soto got hurt, he played every day. Until a few days ago, even Anthony Rizzo played every day. And so when you play guys every day, your bench players rarely play.
Yes.
So Jahmai Jones, did anybody remember he's still on the team?
No.
He barely plays.
Yes,
Trent Grisham barely plays. I just thought it was like the oddest chant ever. Like, I'm looking around. I wanted to wake up my wife and say, "What we want?" Like, I get a "we want" when something's being kept from you. Like, did you think, Sean, Juan Soto was being kept from you?
Well, it felt like that.
He's hurt, dude.
Evan, we went over this at the end of last week while you were in London, too. There is distrust still with Yankee fans and Yankee management about the handling of injuries and what's going to happen. We now got to Sunday.
That's how you're reading it still?
Well, because this is part of it. We got to Sunday on what was, by the way, after another bomb last night. Why is he slipping my mind? The guy who killed us all weekend.
Teoscar Hernandez.
After he had set out, it was becoming the most lost weekend of weekends that this Yankee team, few and far between, it had. And if you hear before the game, Soto again, not IL bound, potentially available, those are Yankee fans, many of which that ponied up before the year to get to a Dodger game. That was an expensive ticket that, frankly, sitting there going, "We want Soto. Is he available or not?" That's the way I read it, because I would have been chanting the same thing. You keep telling me he potentially could come. He can't swing the bat for one at-bat. Let's go.
Okay, here's my... If the Yankees were playing... Like, they're about to play the Kansas City Royals. And the Kansas City Royals are off to a really good start this year. They're 12 games above 500. More on them a little bit later on. If this series was against Kansas City, same record, Yankee Stadium, would you guys have been chanting that?
Probably not.
So you're chanting it because the Dodgers are in town.
Look, like it or not, and whether it doesn't really matter on the standings or not because it's a National League team, there is no denying from anybody that was in the ballpark or around the ballpark this weekend. This weekend felt like a playoff-type atmosphere, and I can't blame fans in those seats for then treating it as such.
But all I'm saying to that is I get that it was different. I get that the resale was different. I get that the clientele was different. It felt big. I could feel it from London watching it on TV. But in the whole grand scheme of things, it's not that much bigger. And so the Yankees had to handle Juan Soto with care and not just say, "Well, screw it, we're down a run in the 6th. Let's use them."
The fan in real time is not thinking that. The fan in real time is saying, "I want to be entertained." Now, Aaron Judge, he is my source of entertainment. He's fantastic. I mean, every single night, he is fantastic. His OPS in June, and I know it's only 10 days in, it's almost 2,000.
It's crazy.
It's unreal. It makes no damn sense. He's walking. He's hitting home runs. He's hitting extra base hits. He's got doubles and triples and everything else going on right now. So the show is already there. But the show with the show, so Soto with Judge, that's exciting.
Oh, you don't have to...
That like tells you we can win any and every game. In fact, they came into the series, 8 or 9 games they were on a winning streak. I forget what it was.
It was 8 games.
8 games winning streak, and it's Soto doing his thing and then Judge doing his thing. And so facing a 3-game sweep to the Dodgers felt like, oh, we can't have this. Give us Soto. Like, I understand it. Like, to me, it's not... It's no disrespect to anybody. I know Aaron Judge took it as disrespect to Trent Grisham. To me, it's not that. Well, I'm here to see the show. I bought tickets for this specific game on this beautiful weekend to see the Yankees beat the Dodgers. I know it means nothing, but for right now, in this little silo, this isolated moment, I want to see Juan Soto come in and be the hero that he's paid to be.
So you want Aaron Boone, despite the guy clearly being banged up, to stick him in the game in the sixth inning?
I don't even think it was a reality. I don't think it was something that Aaron Boone was even considering. Right? I think he's slow playing this. Partly to Sean's point, he's like, all right, he's available. We don't really need him right now, so we're not going to rush him back. He wasn't ever really available.
No, I never
thought him being on the lineup card, unless they get down to literally their last man. He wasn't playing.
I never thought he'd be available, and I know I wasn't here to say it, but my reasoning is kind of similar to what I'm saying right now. If you have an injury scare with someone as valuable as Juan Soto, and you're in the midst of having a hell of a season, and you got great news that the MRI came back clean, the last thing you're going to do is rush him back into the lineup. It'd be foolish.
So why not 10-day IL him then?
Because he doesn't necessarily need 10 days.
Okay, but at
maybe
some
he needs
point,
3 or 4 days, but you're not putting him back in the lineup the next day or the day after.
We already went through 2 days without him. And Evan, if he's in the lineup tonight, then he wasn't available for an at-bat last night. That's the point. You're going to run this fine line of when that's actually possible. To me as a fan, if you're not going to rush him back, then what's the difference between pinch hitting him or playing him tomorrow night? You might as well put him on a 10-day IL retroactively.
I think you want to be careful. And I think the Yankees are being careful with him, as they should, because here's one of the other things I learned from this weekend, besides the fact that we shouldn't get nuts about the results. It's only 3 games. Whether they won all 3, lost all 3, I don't want to call it an exhibition because they all count in the standings, but in the whole grand scheme of things, what did it mean? But here's the other thing we all learned, and we probably knew already. When the Yankees are without Juan Soto, they remind you a lot of 2022. They remind you a lot of, hey, Aaron Judge is our hero. Aaron Judge is our God. We need Aaron Judge to carry us. And if he does, we go in a baseball game like we saw on Sunday night.
Yes.
But they are so reliant on Aaron Judge. And I think what happens, too, is about 2 weeks ago, I came on the air to you and said, there's a growing concern. And that growing concern is Anthony Rizzo. And I almost felt like I needed to whisper it because the Yankees are playing great baseball. Everybody's really happy. But once you start to lose a game here or there, or you lose Juan Soto for a few days and he's not in the lineup, it starts to make things that you already noticed even more noticeable. So Anthony Rizzo has been a mess to the point where Aaron Boone benched him the other day. He's going to probably be benched tonight. But I think what also happens when Juan isn't in the lineup is it exposes to you the other questions that the Yankees have. Gleyber Torres has had a terrible contract year. And I'm not just talking about his bat. We know about his defense. Anthony Rizzo, as I mentioned, has had a terrible season to the point where he's being benched. And so what happens, I think, when Juan's out of the lineup is it just reminds you, kind of puts a magnifying glass on some of the holes that you already knew that they had, that become even bigger because you don't have that second beast in the lineup.
Which is another reason why the fan is chanting, "We want Soto." Because they probably, even if they're not thinking of it in the rhetorical way that you just said it, they are thinking about this. This offense feels different without Juan Soto. So give us Juan Soto. We know he's available because he's sitting right there. I can see him with my eyes right there. He's not hiding in the back of the dugout or in the clubhouse.
I know,
he's sitting right there. Give me Soto.
You know what ruins me on this? I think there's one thing that really ruins me. I'm a big professional wrestling fan. And every time the bloodline is out there these days, we get, "We want Roman." And that makes sense. Here's a professional wrestler who on his...
You say he should go hide?
Well, no. He's a professional wrestler who on his own accord is away. He's vacationing.
Roman Reigns, you mean?
Roman Reigns.
Yes.
He made a decision rightfully. So, you know what? I'm going to stay away for a while. They're going to want me to come back. When I come back, I'm going to be a super babyface. So I'm hearing the same chant for Juan Soto, and all that can go through my mind is, guys, the guy's hurt. The guy is injured.
He's marginally hurt. I can't call it hurt.
Well, look, he's hurt enough to where...
He's hurting. He's not injured. Let's put it that way.
Batik,
are you hurt or are you injured?
Can I defend Juan for a second?
Of course. This is not Juan. I'm
Juan
sure
Soto.
If he was given his druthers, he would probably want to play.
Exactly. And
He's taking the advice and sitting out and handling it, I think, pretty well.
You know why I trust Juan Soto, though?
Why?
Because his track record is of one who plays.
Of course.
Like,
of course. He doesn't want to sit out.
No,
he doesn't want to sit there and collect the paycheck and be available whenever.
You know
That's
how
not
much
his
it
mindset.
probably killed him to not face the LA Dodgers?
Of course.
to not face a team that, by the way, he has a history against,
I get
whether it's his time in Washington or his time in San Diego, and certainly the energy that filled Yankee Stadium. So for him not to be in the lineup Friday and not to be in the lineup Saturday and not to be used shows you he's hurt.
You play. Be a man.
Excuse me, Susan. Wait a second. I didn't see that one coming.
Oh, Susan.
But I defend Juan Soto because I think what we do sometimes, and I love baseball, man. I just went to London, England. I love baseball. There are games and there are series that feel so big. They feel so special. This weekend was special. I admit that. Sold out crowd. Dirty Dodger fans showing up at Yankee Stadium, the hottest secondary price of the season, games that felt like it had electricity, games that were on national TV every day. Like, dude, I get the enormity of how it felt, but in the whole grand scheme of things, what was it?
Yeah. It was just a couple of games in the early part of June that it's a long way from being meaningful.
No doubt.
That's what it was.
And look, it's easy to say, wouldn't this be a great World Series? Let me give you a spoiler alert. It won't be the World Series. You want to know why? You know why? Because the L.A. Dodgers are going to choke to some crappy team in the first week of October, and Cousin Dave is going to make big mistakes.
At least you went to the National League part of that equation.
Oh, no,
not making it to the World Series.
Oh, no, I'm not ripping the Yankees.
Otherwise, it would have been haterish.
No, I'm not.
Otherwise, you would have got the ire of the Yankee fan.
I have more confidence in the Yankees making the World Series than the Dodgers making the World Series. I believe in their track record of coming up small against some 85-win team. That's why I hope the Mets win 85 games. So maybe we'll be the team that knocks them off. But I'll tell you the other thing I learned about this weekend.
What's that?
Dodger fans are the worst. They are so freaking obnoxious. For any Yankee fan that was in the building any of these 3 days, you know what I'm saying. You sat next to them. You had your arms rubbing against them. You heard the words coming out of their mouth. Let me tell you something from firsthand experience in Los Angeles, California, to firsthand experience at Citi Field. There is no more underratedly horrible, disgusting fan base than the Los Angeles Dodgers.
They don't get that rap, though.
That's why I said underrated, Tiki.
Yeah, I wouldn't even have thought that.
Yankee fans, if you were in the building Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, testify. 888-808-1019, because you know I'm right. 888-808-1019. The Dodger fans showed up. They even needed that Fugazi police escort. You saw that video?
Yeah.
They are the most vile sports fans this side of Philadelphia. Actually, you know what? I've cooled off on Philadelphia. I made some friends while I was in London, England.
Oh, the Philly fans.
Yeah, they're nice.
Right.
The Dodger fan is like the most, and trust me, Yankee fan, you know this. They invaded your building, and they showed no respect. I'm telling you, man, they're the worst. You don't want a Yankee-Dodger World Series. You don't want to deal with those people for a best-of-7 series.
They won't be in the building come World Series.
You think we'll block them out?
Absolutely.
Prices will get too high?
No, not even the prices, because they can afford it. I mean, it's highfalutin Hollywood land over there. They can afford it. I think Yankee fans are going to come correct if it's Yankees-Dodgers.
So Yankee fans did not come correct this weekend?
Nah, it's the beginning of the summer. I'm going out to the Hamptons, going to Iceland, going to London, going wherever. I just read something about puffins. Like, you do something, you go somewhere, all of a sudden you notice everything about the place you just went.
Yes.
Puffins are in Iceland. There's a podcast that I just happened to listen to. They were talking about puffins and how cute they are, yet they serve them on the menu over there. It was like disturbing. It really was.
Is a puffin an animal?
It's a bird. It's a little bird. A little puffin bird.
You go fried or grilled on that?
Probably tastes like chicken.
We'll have a lot of food talk a little bit later on as well, because Steve Cohen said something that's a bull-faced lie about the food in London. We'll get to that a little bit later on. Toll-free numbers 888-808-1019.